Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Ford Raptor to the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro to see which top-of-the-line off-road pickup truck you should get. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout-out and thank you to the Nate Wade Super here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Tundra, and then to the Larry Miller Super Ford here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Raptor. I'll include a link to both their inventories in the description down below so you can check out what they have. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Raptor is a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is going to be mid to high teens depending on how you drive it. Power outputs are 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering the Tundra is a slightly smaller 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 that is paired to a 10-speed and a hybrid system. Fuel economy with this is going to be high teens, low 20s depending on how you drive it. Power outputs are 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque. Before I move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, when it comes to the looks, I think both these trucks look incredibly aggressive with their design. I mean, the Raptor, for example, you guys can see the giant hood bulge there in the center. You got the stripes off to either side as well. And then I love the headlight design. You also have the markers built in throughout on the Raptor, which look really cool. You got the bash plate there on the front end, which also just adds to the aggression. You also have skid plate protection with the Raptor, of course, being an off-roader. But yeah, really cool look. And the Tundra has a lot of cool elements. So you got the TRD Pro badging there on the side. We have marker lights just like the Raptor, even the grille. Got the TRD light bar as well. You can see lots of camel print on the exterior. Now you'll notice that we do have a front skid plate. Well, it's actually really hard to see from this angle. You can't see it, doesn't pop out like the Raptor, but it does exist. The front end though is quite a bit less aggressive with the approach compared to the Raptor. Now, another big difference is tire and wheel setup. So the Raptor has 35s wrapped around 17-inch wheels. You can also get it with 37s. That one right over there has the 37s. It sits quite a bit higher. It's an expensive package. But anyways, yeah, big tires from the factory, giant fender flares. You got the wide body kit with the Raptor. You've got the fixed side steps. This is pretty cool with little venting. The Tundra comes stock with 32s, so quite a bit smaller, 18-inch wheels. I know some people argue that these are 33s, but they're 32s, trust me. Anyways, you've got the camo print there on the fender flares, and then you can see there with the satin on the mirror. And then look at the difference with the door handles, painted versus unpainted. And then interestingly enough, Raptor there, but we don't have TRD Pro on the side here. We do have Fox shocks here with the TRD Pro. Well, there's a better look at them. Coil suspension in the back end. The Raptor also has coil suspension and Fox shocks, but you can see it's got the much beefier, more advanced active shock system, so much more expensive Fox shock system on this one. So here's your side profile with the Raptor decals and all. It looks pretty sharp. And then here's your side profile with the Tundra TRD Pro. You can see it sits quite a bit lower. Now quickly, when it comes to bed stuff, Ford makes you pay for extra items. So like if you want bed liner, for example, that is an additional cost on the truck. You can see we do have LED bed lights, got an outlet there as well. And then you've got the whole step system and everything. And the Ford power tailgates are power all the way. Same thing with the new Tundra. For the 25s plus, you get full power with the tailgate. But anyways, you either get composite or you can do spray and liner with the Tundra beds, but try to at least give you something. The spraying, I think, is an extra option, but the composite, if I remember, is standard. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Anyways, you've got protection. The Tundra bed outlet and all. And when it comes to taillight design, I think both of them look cool in their own right. The Raptor might be a little bit cooler. What's definitely cool in the Raptor is the bumper design here. Definitely has that off-road setup, whereas the Tundra, you can see painted, fancy, and all that. And look how low the exhaust tips hang. So it really shows you the ground clearance difference between these trucks. I mean, the Raptor's got 12 inches. The Tundra's got like 10. And you can see it's really apparent here. The Tundra almost looks like a lowrider truck next to the Raptor. Now let's leave this inside. With the Tundra, you've got tons of cool red stitching throughout. And then that same kind of like camo design and everything on the seats. Because it's a hybrid, you do lose the underseat storage. Legroom, you can see, is tighter. Well, I mean, you'll see in a second it's tighter compared to the Raptor. And then you got some cup holders here. And then you've got a little USB port, outlet, and all of that. And another thing to note is the headroom is smaller as well. And look how close this is. It's not touching. Yeah, it gave me a little bit of a heart attack. I like very slowly opened. Very, very close. Too close for comfort if you ask me. Anyways, with the Raptor, you can see you still get cool stitching and everything. And then here are the seats. They're really nice. Not quite as fancy with the no camo and everything. But yeah, I noticed just a little bit more legroom and then a little bit more headroom. It's not like a massive amount, but it is a difference. And then you can see we still have vents and charging ports and actually seats back here, which is nice. Cup holders and everything. But yeah, big backseat area on the Raptor. And then popping over with the Tundra, again, you've got all the red stitching throughout. Got stuff like memory seats, blind spot monitoring, the mirrors, power folding mirrors. We have 1345 for the payload. TRD Pro there on the seat, perforated all down the center. And then you've got the light bar function. This has some added stuff, which is hilarious, but anyways, added nonetheless. See how the door sounds? Relatively solid. Modern Toyotas always sound kind of tin canny. But yeah, full digital gauge cluster, which is pretty cool. Look at that. Nice setup. And then you've got a bunch of practical controls in the steering wheel. The biggest thing is you've got nice trim here, and then you have the red marker at the top with the steering wheel. And then one of the coolest things about the new Tundra is the 360 camera. It's really sharp with the resolution and all. They did a great job with that. And then yeah, big infotainment system. You got heated and ventilated seats, dual zone climate. And then down below you've got a bunch of shortcut buttons for like the camera, for example, rear locking, differential. This only has a rear locker, by the way. But what it also has is a TRD shifter. That's most important. No. So we've got a 2-speed transfer case. And then we also have Toyota's multi-terrain select and crawl control and everything. So this has a lot of off-road computer wizardry is the best way that I will put it. Yeah, cool little center console. Nice trim here. Another cool thing in the interior, Toyota. We also have a camera rear view mirror. The whole window in the back goes down, which is kind of a cool feature. And then we do have a giant panoramic sunroof. Now one of these TRD Pros is going to run you mid-70s for the MSRP. And this of course leads us to the Raptor. So just like the Toyota, you've got some accent stitching on basically a black interior. Same thing with all the controls here, memory seats, blind spot monitoring, mirrors, power fold in. Functionality is very similar. 1358 payload. Raptor there on the seat. And these seats are extremely comfortable. Both the trucks have comfortable seats. Power adjustments and everything, and then the steering wheel is power adjustable. Getting in's nice with those steps. You do have to step up higher though because the truck sits higher. Much more solid door closing sound. Full digital gauge cluster just like the Tundra. But the Tundra doesn't really have like that much of an exhaust note. This you can hear it, that's for sure. Anyways, you've got the cool R mode, which is like your custom mode, but you can adjust a lot with the Raptor just on the fly. So like the exhaust, the suspension, the steering, that's all really cool. And then 360 camera system's good. Not as good as the Toyotas, I would say, but it's still really solid. Just smaller viewpoints, and it's still easy to navigate, not quite as user-friendly. But yeah, big infotainment system, definitely nicer integration here into the dash compared to what Toyota has. But this still has like off-road cruise control, just like the Toyota. You have heated and ventilated seats, dual zone climate, just like the Toyota. Unlike the Toyota, this has, as you can see, four-wheel drive auto, so better four-wheel drive system on that part of things. Rear locking differential, no front, just like the Tundra. And then this whole area is pretty cool with all of the trim you've got going on. I like this. This is all really nice, especially on the glove box too. Looks cool. We do have a power sliding rear window. No camera rear view mirror. That doesn't exist with Ford yet. But we do have a bunch of auxiliary switches, which is cool. And then panoramic sunroof. And this is over $80,000. So the Raptor is quite a bit more money than the Tundra. And this is literally a base Raptor. And something important to note is going to be the fact that the Toyota Tundra is loaded up. You can't get a crazier Tundra than that, whereas the Raptor, you can have 37s. You can even go for a V8. They're obviously a lot more expensive, but the quote-unquote base Raptor is not really a base truck. It's still very loaded up. It just doesn't have crazier off-road stuff or performance stuff that the other Raptors have. Anyways, let's sum things up with this comparison. So with the Raptor, can't go far with it, but I do just want to touch base on a couple of things. So first off, soundtrack, kind of already talked about this. I mean, they're both V6s, so they're not going to be glorious with the sound, of course, but the Raptor definitely has a cool soundtrack. Now, something else to note is the Raptor is extremely smooth, and I think this little thing right over here will show you guys what I'm talking about. So I just have the shocks in normal mode. I don't have anything set any differently, and this is bumpy right here. So you got a bunch of little bumps and everything, and the Raptor just absorbs all of it, and it handles well. This feels very sporty. It's one thing to note about the Raptor. It's very, very sporty feeling. But again, that looks like super easy on the surface going over that, because it is, but like in a regular car you feel it, and sometimes it's like a harsh hit, whereas in the Raptor, again, it's just smooth, very smooth. Turning radius, yeah, I forgot, not the greatest. So that happens when you've got a wide track. That's one downside about the Raptor, is parking it's kind of a pain, and turning around is kind of a pain because of the length of the truck, right? It's a full-size pickup truck, but then also the wider track kind of gets in the way. But the wider track means great stability. I love the steering wheel too, with the paddle shifters and everything. The marker's no longer red, which is kind of fun. But yeah, the suspension's the highlight of the Raptor. It is amazing off-road. I've owned one of these. They do so well. Again, those bumps, they don't exist with the Raptor. That's the thing, is it's like, I go over it and it's so boring, but it's because the Raptor's suspension is so well tuned. And then the power with this EcoBoost, it's good. It's not like the fastest pickup truck on the planet, but it does a solid job. It definitely does a solid job. So with that being said, the Raptor, I mean, this thing is, you know, over 10 years of, so let's see, when was what was the first, was it 2011 for the first of the Gen 1? So we're coming up on like almost 15 years of Raptor. We're getting there. I think so. I can't remember what the first year of the Gen, I forget the buttons up here. Anyways, well, yeah, we're coming up on like, it's at least it's over 10 years. Ford says over 10 years with this Raptor package, and so they've definitely refined things over the years, and that's why the Raptor is what it is in this, you know, off-road performance pickup truck segment, because it's had over a decade of research and development done in to make this truck just better over the years. But anyways, let's pop in the TRD Pro and sum things up. Tundra TRD Pro. First off, it does feel like it's got a better low-end punch, but I wouldn't say that necessarily feels any faster than the Raptor. The gearing that the Raptor has, the 410 rear end and everything, it really does help out quite a bit with the acceleration of the Raptor. And obviously that's, gearing that low is great for off-roading as well. Now I think this will probably show you guys, or hopefully show you guys, the damping with the Raptor, how good it is. So here's the Tundra of the same thing, bump, like I feel it, and the truck's kind of busy over it. It's a huge difference. Like for the Raptor, did not exist. Whereas for the Tundra, it's like bump, and you know, it's kind of busy. That's what shows you just how good that even on a very small scale like that, and then you scale that up to like big bumps off-road and everything, and it is a night and day difference between the pickup trucks when it comes to high-speed off-roading. And that is something to emphasize. The Raptor is all about high-speed off-roading. It does great at low speeds, but the problem is it doesn't fit down a lot of trails. Like if you can fit down a trail in a Raptor, you can drive up it. Problem is just fitting. So with these two trucks, in my mind, the way that I kind of see things comparison-wise is the Raptor is the best when it comes to off-road performance. Like you just can't really beat it when it comes to pickup trucks, at least. It's so good, and it's really comfortable, and it looks cool on the outside, and that's why people are still, a lot of people just buy it because it's a status symbol and it works great with that. The Tundra TRD Pro is really good off-road, but it's a different type of off-roading. It's more kind of geared towards your crawling and overlanding and all of that, which is becoming extremely popular, by the way. That's kind of what I'm more into nowadays, rather than the crazy performance high-speed off-roading, which, don't get me wrong, I think the crazy performance high-speed off-roading is fun. It's just not what I'm into anymore. I'm gonna kind of go over here. Maybe the 4Runner will figure their life out. There we go. But I think it's just different people, and you know, normally in these comparisons, we talk about reliability and talk about how, yeah, you go for the Toyota because it's more reliable, and well, that is not the case with these new Tundras. Do your own research on that. That's what I'll say there. So, you know, the Tundra is less money, but it's also less truck at the end of the day. And so if you don't need the Raptor's performance, then yeah, save yourself some money. Toyota resale value is also really strong despite the problems that they're having. People are still willing to pay big money for these TRD Pros on the used market. But yeah, I think they're both cool in their own right, but they really are kind of in different segments. This is more like a Tremor Plus rather than a Raptor competitor. And I say Tremor Plus in the sense of, I think it's better than a Ford Tremor, but let me think.